Okay, this is called problem solving with integers in context. Let's review. The additive inverse property is the sum of a number and its opposite equals 0. And the rules for adding integers. Positive plus a positive equals a positive. A negative plus a negative equals a negative. A positive plus a negative or a negative plus a positive. You subtract the numbers without signs, just like you normally would. You take the smaller number from the large number. And then for the sum, you take the sign of the larger number for the sum. Here's the first problem. The high temperature for today was 15 degrees Celsius. At night, it went down to minus 7 degrees Celsius. By the next morning, the temperature had gone up 11 degrees Celsius. What is the temperature in the morning? So here's the problem again, and let's do it on the number line. So we start at the 15 degrees Celsius, and we have to go down to minus 7 degrees Celsius. Well, that's minus 22 spaces or units. And then it says the next morning the temperature had gone up 11 degrees centigrade or Celsius. So we're going to add 11 units. And that puts us where? It puts us at 4 degrees Celsius. So you can see how it's done on the number line, and you can look at the equation. 15, which is where we started, minus 22, which brings us down to negative 7, and then adding 11. Negative 7 plus 11. Remember, a negative plus a positive. Subtract as you normally would. 11 minus 7. That gives you 4. And then you're going to take the sign of the larger number. The sign of the larger number is positive. Here's problem number 2. The net charge of item A is shown. What charge would have to be added to it to make it have a neutral charge? A neutral charge, of course, would be 0, because 0 is neither positive nor negative. This item has a net charge of positive 10. Let's use our number line again. We start at plus 1, and we're going to add negative 1. We end up with 0. Remember, opposite values combine to make 0. And then we're at 0. We add 1, and we get 1. And then we're going to have that positive 1 and take away 1. Brings us back to 0. Well, what we're left with is positive 12. What do we have to do to get back to a neutral charge? Remember, neutral is 0. Well, we would have to go in the complete opposite direction, that same number, minus 12. The solution to this problem is minus 12. Let's look at one more problem. Jacob works at Pizza Palace. He needs to know his current balance because he wants to buy his girlfriend a gift for her birthday. What is the most he'll be able to spend on a gift? So we've got to figure out the balance, his current balance, based on all his debits and credits. We'll use a number line again. So we're going to start at $50. We're going to add 85 because he has a credit of $85. And when we do that, we end up at 135. Well, then he has a debit of $75 because he went to A&N Electronics. That brings us down to 60. And then what happens? Well, Then he has $65 from Pizza Palace. That must be what he makes in salary or hourly wage. And that brings us up to 125. And then he goes to NSM Electric, or maybe that's his electric bill, and he pays $130. So that's going to be minus 130. That brings him all the way down to negative $5. Well, luckily, he gets paid again, $45. And 40 plus $45 brings us to a final balance of $40. $40 is the most Jacob can spend on a gift for his girlfriend. Well, that ends this very brief video on problem solving with integers in context. Enjoy the activity.